Hello, good morning, and welcome to this morning time, mid-morning taste change. This is going to count for Monday the 30th, the 29th, Monday, March 29th. Sorry. We have two very not famous American blended whiskeys here, but I bought them both in Louisiana, so they're around here, not in this town. I've never seen either one of these in this parish. I bought these in Jefferson Parish. Well, it's a much bigger area, much more populated area. I've got Bankers Club blended whiskey, aged 3 years. They're both 80 proof. This does have a website photo, at least. They don't say anything about it on the website, but it was introduced in 1969. Now the bottle says since 1907. Well, not exactly. It was introduced in 1969 by Kasser Distilling of Philadelphia. They started in 1907. They got bought out less than 100 years later, and now it's owned by Laird Company of Scoobyville, New Jersey, which is a tiny little settlement, a village in New Jersey. It's not really a town, sort of like Mount Airy here in this parish, or Tigerville, or Lucy. Now, I would like to visit it, though, take a tour of their facility. These are the same price per, oh, no, I'm wrong. Let me recalculate that. I caught myself. Okay. This is $7.99. If you bought a liter of this, it would be $7.99. Okay. And you might find liters, but this is the 1,750 milliliters. So it's a liter plus a regular size bottle. If you like buying a liter and then a regular size bottle and putting them in one big jug. So $7.99 a liter. This Clubhouse is $5.99 a liter, $5.99 a liter. True story. At International Market in Metairie, Louisiana. That's where I bought this. I bought this at Total Wine, which is only about 5 blocks east of International Market, also in Metairie, Louisiana. Premium quality Clubhouse product of USA, blended whiskey with natural flavors and caramel color. Oh boy. But I'm making a big dramatic thing out of that, obviously. Bottled by Kentucky Standard Distillers, Bardstown, Kentucky. That's an alias name for Heaven Hill, family-owned company. Family-owned. Family-owned. The Laird family, the Shapiro family. Okay. Independent companies. No blend ratio given on the Clubhouse. So is it 80-20, the minimum? I don't know. Maybe it's 25% straight whiskey. I don't know. I doubt that. No age statement, which means the straight whiskeys in here are aged at least 4 years. So 4-year age straight whiskey blended with unaged raw corn spirits, grain neutral spirits. Probably corn, but it could be rice, could be wheat, could be barley. It doesn't matter what kind of grain they use, is because it's neutral spirits. They distill it to where it has no odor, no color. But they're using corn. We all know that because it's the cheapest grain. They're not going to use the most expensive grain and then sell it for $5.99. Bankers Club has a filigree label. You can feel the texture of the writing in the metal that it never won. It's all these American eagles and red, white, and blue stripes. American. It's America. All right. $80-20 blend ratio, age 3 years. So they're giving more information. There is a straight bourbon version, which I forgot to check about when I was at Total Wine, but I have so much bourbon, straight bourbon backstocked as it is, I don't really have any need to look at it. I shouldn't even think about it. I got to do the Henry McKenna. I got to do Larceny straight bourbon that my friend David gave me. Thank you, David, for that great gift. I got to do the Henry McKenna. I got to do the Jesse James. I got to do the Old Charter. Now, that's 4 right off the top of my head, and I know there's more. So let's forget about Bankers Club straight bourbon for now. In a few years, maybe we'll look at it. Clubhouse. Well, I guess that's about as low grade as it gets from Heaven Hill. What do they make that's cheaper? I don't know. They might sell some bottled water. All right. I mean, we talking about the cut of the cut rate. We don't even get it in this town. We get some cheap products here. Like sometimes Winn-Dixie will have their Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey on sale for $13.99 for the big handle bottle, which translates to $7.99 a liter. Well, no, that's not bad, but we don't get anything like $5.99. And I bought the Bellows. I'll give you another example. In Jefferson Parish, I bought the Bellows liter straight bourbon whiskey, aged 4 years, for $5.99. Now, the next time I went back to Savannah Discount, they had exactly 0 bottles left. They're cutting the grass over there. Ain't no way straight bourbon for the blower. Oh yeah, they're blowing off the leaves and whatnot. There is no way, and I mean no way, a store is going to sell straight bourbon whiskey for $5.99 a liter, and it's going to be in the store in a week. I don't care how many cases they've got. It's gone. The word's going to get out, and people are going to rush that store and buy it. Well, somebody might buy it and then go bring it to their store and sell it for $8.99 a liter. Now, that would be dirty, but they do those kind of things. All right, now, violates the 3-tier system too. You're not supposed to hot shot stuff, but they do it. Okay. Only way they're going to get in trouble is if the Louisiana Bureau of Tobacco, Alcohol, and Firearms goes and checks out their records and say, what's the inventory paperwork, the paperwork on this liquor here, and are they going to really do that? They might do audits sometime, but I doubt that's going to happen. So anyway, because that stuff is supposed to come through the distributor. All right. Do I support those regulations? Of course, I do not. Now there's a lot of condensation. Now the Bankers Club is lighter, paler amber. This one's darker. Well, they say to add caramel color and natural flavors. Not a remarkable thing. Most every American blended whiskey has added caramel color and natural flavorings. It's not required. It's allowed. Okay. You can make a blended whiskey in the United States, and you don't have to add any flavor in, and you don't have to add any color in. The only thing you got to do is age it at least 2 years to straight bourbon. You got to have at least 2-year aged straight whiskey in there because it has to contain at least 20% straight whiskey. So if it's straight corn whiskey, no problem. Put it in there. But it has to be aged at least 2 years to be called straight corn. If it's straight bourbon, no problem. Add it in there. The grain spirits are unaged generally. They can be aged. They can be. But they're not because they're just used for blending and there's such a turnover. Sometimes they have to store it, but they have to be stored in wooden vessels. I know that's on the regs. The regs. Look at the regs. Look at your regs. It sounds complicated, but when you read the regulation, it really is not complicated, and it's not that restrictive. In fact, they're given a pretty wide range of options. So you think it's strict, but it isn't really strict. They can have blending sherry up to, 2.5% of the volume is blending sherry. That can be used, they say, for consistency and flavor or something. Well, you just look up ttb.gov gov, and it's all in there. Caramel color is added. It's considered a harmless coloring additive. It's made with browned sugar. Now, I'm pretty sure you have enough sense and intelligence to realize that brown sugar, put sugar in a pan and brown it, is not going to be dangerous. You say, what if you eat it all day long, every day of the week? Well, yeah, that's different. But we're not talking about that. We talk about caramel coloring. Look at it, it's the most widely used food coloring in the world. You buy Kitchen Bouquet, you know, that browning sauce. Where does the brown and the brown gravy come from? You say beef. Beef brisket. Yeah, right. It's caramel color. Okay. Read your labels, folks. All right. Get a chocolate bar, caramel coloring, etc. Anyway, let's not even go into all that because that's too simple. That's too like normal living to even have to explain something like that. Now, are there other food colorants that are common? Yeah, blue number 1, blue number 2, the red, the yellow, the green. Go to your grocery store, go to the food coloring section. There it is. People use it in all kind of cake icing and everything, cookies and everything. Is it dangerous? No. All food is safe within certain parameters with a certain amount of intelligence. The United States government does not even recognize the term junk food. That is a pop culture term. Okay, but let's go to this. It smells like very faint corn spirits. If you want to, okay, here's a good idea. If you want to make a baseline, a prototype, or even if you want to be metaphysical, an archetype of corn spirits, you could buy mellow corn. It's about $15 a bottle for a liter, I think, or maybe a $7.50. I think it's a liter that you can get for $14.99. That's a straight corn whiskey, 100 proof. It's just made with corn, mellow corn. Is it the greatest thing? No, but it'll get in your mind what this corn maize tastes like. So then when you're trying these other things that are based on that, then you have a reference point. Then you can say, oh, it's a close or a distant approximation to that. Or go buy some Quaker grits. Or that yellow corn grits I bought today at Walmart, that Dixieland or Dixie something, yellow corn grits. And then heat it up according to the directions and then eat the grits. And then you say, oh, okay. Well, taste it without the salt first. It wouldn't have very good taste. But then you can add your salt later. But then you get that mindset. That's what this smells like. What about the charred oak and the vanilla and all that that you get with bourbons like Blanton single barrel? Yeah, right. No. You get a faint shadow of that. But you don't really get that because this is not the same product. It's based on bourbon, but it is not bourbon. Now, in other countries, they'll sell this stuff as bourbon, but it ain't no bourbon. This has much less aroma over here in my right hand. Much less aroma. So what am I picking up over here? A lot of tap water. Okay, I took a deep inhalation, so I'm picking up the corn spirits now. And a little wood, a little wood, a little wood, a little wood, a little wood. Oak, good to see you. Am I the only one watching? No, there's 2. But, you know, that'll fluctuate 2, 1, 5, 4, 3. They watch and get bored and jump off. They might say, I don't want to watch something like that, you know, and quit. But can't do nothing about it. All right, so the aroma on both is fine. It's not foul or off-putting. You say, what does it smell like? in reality? Well, it smells like what the United States government says it has to smell like. The flavors and aromas generally associated with whiskey. Now, that's what the rule is. They got all the ingredient options. They have a lot of different ingredient and blending options. But it's required to smell and taste like what is generally considered the smell and taste of whiskey. You say, what does that even mean? Well, I don't know. Andy Bay says I'm here. Okay, welcome. All right, so here goes the taste. I just mixed them up again because I glanced and I saw one look darker and I didn't want to mess up the blind taste challenge aspect of it. Yeah, pungent corn grain, just fermented and then distilled grains, predominantly corn. And here's the faint one. Okay, so I got them back in straight. Now, could they have wheat whiskey in them? Sure. Could they have barley, straight barley malt whiskey? Malt whiskey, of course. You say, what about rye? Rye whiskey. You could have all of that. But keep in your mind that these are going to be using the cheapest ingredients possible so they can sell for the lowest possible price. Are people drinking this stuff neat? No. They're buying it and mixing it with grape juice and making a cheap cocktail and watching Happy Days reruns. You say, well, that sounds very low brow. That's right. It is. That's what they're doing. Or they're mixing it with a Coca-Cola. You say, no, that stuff's so cheap. They're mixing it with store brand, Great Value, or Surefine, or Thrifty made cola. Okay, I wouldn't be shocked. And I sure wouldn't care. Same old story, candy corn, but this one has that weird flavoring. I got my hand over here covering it so I don't glance. That weird nutshell nut oil flavoring, like a pecan oil flavoring. I don't think they're allowed to add that though. But I did see a blended whiskey that said it had oak extract added. The Triple Crown blended whiskey from McCormick in Missouri, which is a much more expensive blended whiskey. It'll run you about $22 a bottle. Got a fancy bottle and talk about how great it is. It was okay. It wasn't really any better than these, but it did have that little weird flavoring additive, which I assume was the oak extract, since it said right on the website to use oak extract. This one over here. Now this one, this is a hard one. One good thing, I'm not picking up any of that funky monkey honeydew melon. Now remember that about the Clubhouse. It was a weird taste. And you could even argue an unpleasant taste. Okay. But it didn't have that stereotypical Heaven Hill honeydew melon undertaste, which I do not like. This is a strange thing. I don't know what it's got in it. It almost tastes like it's got prune juice in it. I mean, I know that's not true. They could have blending sherry. You say, well, maybe they're using a cream sherry, which has exotic flavor. Okay, maybe. Now you see, I think this is the Clubhouse because it's got that strange nut oil, like a pecan extract taste. I don't know what it is. They're never going to tell you anyway. If you wrote an email to the company, say, what is your mash bill and the flavorings added for Clubhouse? First, they wonder why you would send that email, because I'm sure no one ever asked about Clubhouse. Secondly, They're not going to tell you. They're going to say, we don't disclose our, internal operations, whatever, but we appreciate your interest in our products, and we invite you to take a tour of the Heaven Hill experience in Bardstown, Kentucky. Please keep in mind all the protocols to prevent illness, and wash your hands. Be a fool. Listen to all orders, every ridiculous order the government gives you, and don't use your own mind, or something like. Well, I mean, they wouldn't necessarily say that, but so. I'm telling you right now, this is the clubhouse. Is it worth $5.99 a liter? Well, yeah. Is it worth $6.99 a liter? Maybe, I guess. What about $7.99 a liter? That would be the tipping point. I might pay $7.99 a liter, but I wouldn't pay a penny more. So if it was $8 a liter, I wouldn't buy it. Now, I know you're thinking, but that's like an incredibly cheap price for whiskey anyway, $8 a liter. You're telling me this stuff is so low grade, it doesn't even qualify to be purchased for $8 a liter? I would say that's right. It doesn't. CNN said the Boulder shooter. Yeah, I saw that on Facebook. I saw that. I think CNN doesn't like those, those W people. All right. I'm not into all that racial hatred stuff. A lot of people are. They're like, I'm not saying you are, of course. Communist News Network probably is. They're international socialist Soviet style news company. I agree with that. All right. Now, I remember back years ago, though, in the early 80s, they were just a regular old news station. You say, what happened? Well, I think their ownership was started by Ted Turner. He's a kind of a Stalinist type fellow, I believe. All right, now, sugary sweet like candy corn. It might have oak extract too. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, that comment from CNN doesn't even make any sense because there are many white Arabs. Arab is not even a race, so it doesn't even make any sense. That shows their ignorance. Arabic means a person who comes from an Arab-speaking background. There are Caucasian Arabs. I mean, blonde hair and blue-eyed Arabs, like in Syria, who came into Syria and Iran even more so with Alexander the Great's armies. They have Aryan Arabs, I mean, really. So they'd be more Scandinavian looking than me. I have some Latino background. You say Latino. Yeah, I mean like French, a la Francais, France, Gaul, that's a Latin language, French, from based on Latin. But my last name ends in a vowel, so it could even be Italian. A lot of Italians lived in what is France today, and they just francophonized their names, you see. Because remember, France owns areas today that used to be Italian. Corsica Island, of course. Savoy and Nice, N-I-C-E, nice. Those were Italian, always part of Italy, but they were seized by France in a kind of a crooked deal that Napoleon III made with the King of Savoy, Victor Emmanuel. But yeah, there's you can go to some Arabic areas that's you might think you in North Dakota or Salt Lake City, you know what I mean? All right, now they want to push the narrative. Right, I know what they're trying to. They're just living in a fantasy world, But now, you say, well, it's an evil world. I didn't say it wasn't evil. Now, this is the Laird, so I'm going to say this is Bankers Club. Oh, I feel so played. I feel so bad. You know how you feel? I feel worse than that because I thought it was Bankers Club, but it's the clubhouse. I almost say country club. Oh well, it just goes to show you get these cheap whiskeys, but on the other hand, you can get expensive ones. You can't tell one from the other. So cheap grade, mid grade, premium grade. You can put one against the other. I don't mean put a low grade against a premium. I mean, I don't cross line. I do side to side. You could do a premium versus a premium. You can't tell them apart sometimes. Do a mid grade versus mid grade. Can't tell them apart. Low grade versus low grade. Now, am I saying? Am I championing low grade whiskey? No, I'm not. I just say I'm trying them and I'm telling you what I think. I'm not really like exactly an adulation of these. They're okay. I mean, they're arguably good. I mean, it's what you want to spend your money on. I mean, I could go get a Rally's All-American burger for $1. I'm not going to sit there and talk about how great it is. But I could eat it. I'll probably enhance it with some onions, maybe a slice of like spinach leaf or something. But I mean, it's $1, so you eat it. That's what these are like. That's the world in which they exist. Okay. Black Velvet Reserve is surprisingly not bad. I wasn't in love with that 8-year aged. I bought it for $10.99 at DoorDash, believe it or not. I wasn't really. I haven't been too impressed with Black Velvet. I hate to say that because I know you're watching the channel, but I prefer whatever goes down easy. Well, these go down pretty easy. They're just not too. I could compare this to some rock music, but I'm not going to do it. Are you in the kitchen? Kitchen table is always the house, huh? No, this is an office. That's a bookshelf of National Geographic magazines in the back. The yellow is the National Geographic magazines. The oldest one I got is from 1918, true story. And then that's beer bottles in front. And then that's comic books, which you want to buy comic books? Anybody want to buy these comic books? I'll sell them. Give me $250,000 and you got it. People say $250,000. You really have gone crazy. I've gone crazy, huh? How many people do you know have every issue of the? I ain't gonna say it. All right, Monka, are you retired? No, I'm not. I'm semi-retired. I retired from teaching high school. I get that retirement check every month, but I still work part-time. So I deal with inventory allotment things. That's what I deal with. Okay. Just want to say I always watch your review when I'm trying new beer. Oh, thank you, Andy. Did you hate any of your students? I don't hate anybody. I was irritated with some. Just like you'd be irritated with anybody. But they had some really good, I had some really geniuses, really. Some were geniuses, not too many. You're too young to be retired. Well, that's why I say I'm not retired. What grades did you teach? Oh, high school. But I taught all the way from 6th grade up to 12th. But mostly I taught high school and college. Taught world history and American history for Southern University, Southeastern Louisiana University. I taught high school. Yeah, it was fun. I mean, but I was ready to get out. I went over 2 decades. I said, let me get out of this. All right. But anyway, that's it. I could not tell them apart. That's kind of disappointing. It's actually very disappointing. I thought I had it nailed, but that's the risk of doing a live blind taste test. You do it live, so you get it wrong, well, then you stuck. But they got some really like kind of deranged people that do videos on the YouTube. If they got it wrong, they would delete it. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't see the video after a couple of days. Like they can't stand to be wrong and be embarrassed. So they're just not going to ever do a blind taste test anyway, most of them. But I do it. I'm willing to take the risk. And if I get it right, then I can brag about how expert I am. And if I get it wrong, I can make excuses like, well, they're both cheap, so what do you expect? But it's not really a good excuse. If it's live, it's more accurate, and you're correct. Right. Right. You do it live, take the risk. If you're not willing to take the risk, well, I don't care if they don't take the risk, because most of these beer reviewers and whiskey reviewers are cool. You know, you make a comment, they'll reply, you know, oh yeah. Now you get some stuck up ones, you know, like they're too good to answer the little people. I don't have time for my viewers. You know, that's their attitude. You get a few hostile maniacs, you know, like, but it's like, well, I tell them, if you want to talk trash, let's come, you know, let's do a live hangout. You can come on here and debate me and tell me I'm wrong, but you got to show your real name, and you can't hide behind a ski mask or something, you know. Oh no, I can't do that. I have a very important job. No, but you're content to be a jerk because you make comments with an alias name, you know. But that's you get those kind of people. They brave on a keyboard, you know, not brave in real life, obviously. But so what's coming up next? Saturday morning, we're gonna start some Sazeracs. You say Sazerac? Oh man, they make Sazerac Rye, they make Buffalo Trace, they make Eagle Rare, they make Pappy Van Winkle, they make Blanton's. Yeah. And they also make 75 South, Grand Legacy, and Old Thompson. Yeah, that'll be great. And then I got one called Sunnybrook from Beam. You say, Jim Beam, it's not bad. Yeah, they make some really low grade stuff too that they don't want to talk about. They prefer that you didn't know they made it. Oh well, too bad I exposed them. And then I'm gonna close out with a credible product. Not incredible, credible in the sense that it's like actually good. You don't have to make excuses for it. And that's the Seagram 7 Crown. 7 Crown, 7 and 7. They have their own Facebook site. They have their own website. Like it's a company that has money, you know, like they actually do promotions and have events, and they sponsor music groups, and they sponsor concerts and stuff. You know, I mean, like it's not like this stuff. You're never going to see Bankers Club sponsoring The Who, you know, The Who's millionth farewell tour. You know, you're not going to see that. All right, let's see. Last comments and we out of here. Cheers, says Ethan. Hey, Ethan, cheers back to you. I love to watch you get into it with a viewer. No, I don't like to get into it with people. I like to be peace like a river. I can tell you're a good guy and you're right with there will always be dummies. You just got to remember they are few and far between. I don't know. I think there's more dummies than we believe. Dark Lotus says, popcorn, cash me outside. How about that? Says Ethan. And he's laughing so hard he's crying. Cash me outside. How about that? You know, well, I don't know these hoes. But anyway, that's the end of this video. That's the end of this video production, and we'll be back on live. Now we might be live. I have even more shocking news. We might be live today later on if John Anile, he does have a job. You know, people do have to work, including me. Well, I do work. I don't know if I have to work, but I do work. Now, but John Anile might get together with me and do an examination of Crown Royal Black. And that is not a joke. And that is not a drill. That is a serious thing. Crown Royal Black, 90 proof, introduced in 2010. Oh, bazam. Then we might do it Friday night. But I'll be back, God willing, on Saturday morning with another Dawn Busters. And we're going into the doggone Bankers Club versus Sazerac products. Then we're going into versus Sunnybrook. Then, like I said, Seagram 7 Crown. And then to close it out, but I will close it out. And then we're going to go into something probably be a little bit more exciting, Canadian blended whiskey. You say, that's not more exciting. That's worse. I hate Canadian blended whiskey. Well, you might. I don't. I actually like it. So we've got Crown Royal Black. I know you're jealous. Crown Royal Black versus everybody. And obviously, I'm going to go Crown Royal Black versus Crown Royal for the first challenge. Not that it would be actually it won't really be a challenge because you'd never confuse the two. But that'll be exciting anyway. And then so that'll take about 2 weeks. Go through all the blended Canadian whiskeys. Then it's going to be blended Scotch. And that is no joke. I got Dewar's 12 year. So get ready for Dewar's 12 year. That thing is great. And when I tell you the price, I paid, you're going to swear I'm lying. And I promise you, I am not lying. It's the greatest deal I ever got in the history of my life. And I've got some awesome deals. Thank you for watching this video production.